after camp, we go home, and then we got this light in us that just shines so brightly, or better known as our spiritual high. And then 2 weeks later, a month later, what happens to it? It starts giving, it starts getting, maybe even non-existent. I don't know if you guys talk about it in your small groups or not. And there's always things that come between us. As Christians, we know that when we talk about Christians, there's that one relationship that we want with Jesus Christ. But I think it's safe to say that we all struggle so much to obtain that relationship. I mean, sometimes we think we have it in our hearts. So there's always something that is between us. Our standards. If it's something we want to call it in better terms, it's a reason. But if we want to put it in a, not so good way, it's an excuse that keeps us from having a relationship with God. And I want you to just think about things in the past. Hopefully there are things that have come between you and God that you have overcome. That you can just, be proud of and say, God, I would love to let this come between us, but not anymore. You guys haven't let the devil come between you and God with whatever he's tapping you into or luring you into. And then I want to talk about present. Even in some of those small groups, I know that there are things between us and God. Whether it is our lack of communication at church. For some of us, it may be our pride that's on the line that comes between us and God. For some of us, it may be our friends, and for I think a lot of us, maybe even our family. I know that in small groups, when we ask you guys to bring up or share those things, sometimes it's so close to heart, and it's just so hard to bring up, or just especially sometimes in front of strangers. New people you guys don't know. It's just so hard to bring up and start talking about your intimate feelings with God. But personally, I think if you let something sit in your heart long enough, it only hurts more. Share it with your brothers and sisters and let them carry part of the burden. Let them help you. Does everybody have their Bibles?
Yes.
Okay. You don't need it right now. What I'm going to do is I have a little worksheet. You guys don't need it right now, but what I'd like you guys to do is when we can break into our small groups, what it is, it's a devotional sheet on John chapter 4, verses 1 through 42. This is, if you guys know what it is, it's a story about the Samaritan woman. If you guys know anything about it, it's about all the sins that this lady does. And I've been reading out of this book. It's called Messy Spirituality. It's by Mike Gagnoli. And one part it says, when it comes to immortality, this woman is a pro. Of all the people to bump into the Son of God, it had to be a woman whose past suggests she is far from God, as anyone could be. Surprisingly, Jesus initiates a conversation with him. A respectable Jewish male, especially a respectable Jewish Messiah male, should not be talking to a woman like her, period. A woman with her reputation could only damage Jesus' reputation, but he doesn't seem to care. The book goes on to talk about all these things that this woman, this Samaritan woman, has done in her life. 5, 6 different husbands and numerous other sins that she's done. And I have included it in your worksheet. So I thought this was just so powerful because looking at her long string of bad choices, many would consider her unredeemable, unsalvageable, unteachable, beyond help. She hadn't just made a few mistakes. She had lived a lifetime of mistakes, enough to cause most to conclude her life as scarred beyond hope. And I hope you guys can read. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but hopefully you guys can understand to relate it to yourselves. Whatever sins you guys have made, whatever mistakes you've made in the past, it's irrelevant. The let me read out it. Let you know what I'm trying to say here. As far as Jesus is concerned, this woman is salvageable, teachable, redeemable. As far as Jesus is concerned, the woman with no future has a future. Jesus sees her present desire, which makes her past irrelevant. And when I read that, I just said, wow, all the things that I've done in the past, it's wiped off clean. It's clean slate. I think that's very powerful. And even presently, before we came to camp, when John came up on Saturday to drop off all your baggage that you have, some of those baggage may be the sins that we have made, or the mistakes we've done that hold that relationship between us and God. I know we said this a little graphic, but I really want you guys to, when we come into our devotion time with our small groups, try to share. And I promise you, it's going to make you feel a lot better. If you can share it, have somebody encourage you to move forward from that. So, before I let you guys go off, when you guys come back from your small groups, Peter would like it if we can sit in our small groups when we come back, because he needs us in our small groups. So just remember when you come back to sit in our small groups. I think we have, do 15 minutes or no? Okay, so let's take 15 minutes. I have the information for all the leaders if you guys want to compare.